point out a couple of people that are here and thank them for their support. Keith King of the Lenore County Commissioner is here. Chris Rogerson, District Court Judge, is here. Sonia Davis, District Court Judge, is here. And to kick off this portion of the program, it is my pleasure to welcome Felicia Solomon, our Mayor Pro Tem, and also Linda Rouse Sutton, our Chairman of the Lenore County Commissioners.
All right, well, good evening. On behalf of our Mayor, Doreen Moore, Kinston City Council, and the City of Kinston, it is my honor to be able to welcome you on tonight. It can't be said enough, and to the Bird Dogs, you'll never stop hearing this, but thank you for bringing baseball back to Kinston, to Lenore County, and maintaining it. There are certain things that community that identify or brand a community. And we thank you because baseball is one of those things. Baseball is that thing that truly brings community together. And as Andy was saying, one thing that we appreciate most is that which you give to the community on those nights that we gather, that where everyone is seen, whether you're the youngest or the oldest member in a community, it extends beyond just that night. And it extends into our community, it extends into our schools, it extends into the Council on Aging, and we thank you for seeing every member in this community. So this opportunity to say welcome to those of you who have made this happen, to those of you being honored, to the players, to the fans, to the spouses, to the children, that welcome encompasses more than what you know. And it's because of you, it's because of baseball that our identity has not been lost. Thank you. And
all right. No short jokes. Come on.
We see you.
Y'all were supposed to good evening. On behalf of the Lenore County Commissioners, and Keith's already been recognized, and Cleveland Lubbock, one of our commissioners, is here. So, but on behalf of everybody, I would like to say how exciting it has been to go through this process. Of course, you all know we were without a ball team for about 5 years, and commissioners had never been really that involved in it before. And we were this time, and I'll never forget the first meeting that we had. I don't know when it was, Bill Ellis, but it was a long time ago. Bill calls and says, you need to go to a meeting. So what you did, you go to a meeting. But, you know, we had that first meeting, and there was just something special about it, the folks that came down representing this team. And I think it is displayed, and everybody feels it when you have ball games. It's like family. It's like family for the whole city and county. And what you have brought to us, we missed it for so long, there just aren't words to express it. And I want to particularly thank the folks that are the youngers. And when we realized the process, I mean, you know, one day we were ready to go, and then the next day there was more negotiation, and we didn't think we were going to have it. And you know, it was really intense, and I can't imagine what those folks were going through. So I just want to say to everybody that's a part of it, thank you so much. When I go to the ball team, I'm like Felicia. It's just fun. The people are there, and they're happy, and they're excited. So we're so glad to have that back in Lenore County. So thank you all, no matter what part you play in supporting them.
All right.
Stand up and fight.
Thank you so much, ladies. We really appreciate your support, and of one of the many things we will realize here is the fact that the community support from our elected officials is what really makes a difference as well. This statement now is going to shock a lot of people in this room, but working for a minor league baseball team is not a lucrative career. Sherry Massengill was my boss for the majority of the time when I was with the Kinston Indians. And what she couldn't give me monetarily, she was able to give me and many others in time. In the off season, I was allowed to leave work early to call ECU baseball games, New Bern football games, Lenore Community College basketball games. One year I had 8 W-2s that I had to file when it was tax time. Sherry was a flexible and a generous boss, and she really helped me not only to pay the rent, but to build my resume. So that's a long intro for a really, really good person. Your current General Manager of the Down East Bird Dogs, Sherry Masson.
Hey guys, is it hello? This is too, a little bit too, okay. Good evening, I'm so glad to see everybody, thank you so much for the support, for coming out tonight. I have to thank a few people, to begin with. It seems so surreal to be up here. It seems like this should be 2011, because our last hot stove was 2010. And ironically, in 2009, we inducted Sean Casey, and Ross was here as a representative of Cleveland Indians. And so I feel like it's weird. Let's just say that. But it's great. Want to thank Bill Ellis, Cam McRae, all the other owners. I don't think there's any other owners here tonight, but just to thank them for bringing this team here and for inviting me to be the GM. To come back to Kinston is still surreal for me. I have to thank Susan Barrett. She works for Cam McRae. She helped me in just about every exercise to get this team up and running, which was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. To start a team from scratch, really didn't even foresee all the things that we had to do, but Susan made it possible. She helped me out tremendously. So, Ross, we want to thank Ross for showing up tonight, for him to leave spring training. I'm sure he had plenty of things to do, but I reached out to Ross during the playoffs, I think, and asked him about coming here to be inducted into our Hall of Fame, and he agreed. And unfortunately, the World Series, he didn't win the World Series, but came pretty darn close. So congratulations, and we're looking forward to hearing from him here soon. I want to introduce my staff. Christopher Renfro's at the front, ticket operations and sales. Hunter Lanning, account manager, sales. Spencer Pattison, director of broadcasting and media relations. And Rachel's in the back with the camera. She is our new director of marketing and promotions. I was gonna say thanks to Brett for being here, but Brett is our manager. He is coming back. He unfortunately got bumped off a flight, so he's not here tonight. Spencer's gonna take his place and tell us a little bit about the team and what's happening with that. Stephen Watson is not here, but Nick is here. I don't know how many of you know this, but our field is one of the best in the country. It has been and always, I think, will be. We won the Field of the Year this year. So thank you to Nick and Stephen. Stephen is not here, but that was pretty awesome. In our first year back as the Bird Dogs, we sold about 62,000 tickets. That number's got to go up so that we can keep on keeping on. But we had a great year. The opening day and 4th of July were pretty magical. Everybody showed up and had a really good time. We're looking forward to largest gathering of Chris's that is gonna happen this season as a promotion. I don't know how many Chris's are in here right now, but Chris Hatcher, Chris Haymeyer, Chris Massengill, Christopher Renfro, and any other Chris's in here tonight? I need you guys, I need everybody to show up for our, largest gathering of Chris's coming tomorrow. And thank you to Steve Tassler, who's coming up after me. He's our, commissioner for the Frontier League. Thank you for traveling here, and making time for us. And I have to thank my husband as well. He's a Chris. Thank you for, supporting me all these years in this crazy, world that we call minor league baseball. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much, Sherry. And now please welcome up to the podium Steve Tassler, who is the commissioner of the Frontier League.
I'm gonna risk breaking this thing because I do better with it in my hand than on the stand. Chris, one of the many Chris's, thank you. You know, every year we do a contest internally. What's the most unique promotion? This is a new one. I've never seen the most Chris's at once. So, Christine, we have Christines, we have Christinas in the league as well. We're gonna be creative and fill the ballpark and set a record with that one. So over the last 20 years or so, 21st century, the biggest topic in baseball you hear is how do you build a team? Statistics versus scouting. And strong viewpoints on both sides, strong, adherence on both sides, very contentious conversation at times. My background academically is in social data analysis, so which is basically statistics, sociology. Now it's 30 plus years old. I never used a computer in college, I'll put it that way, so not really relevant anymore, but I fully get the statistics side, I get the data, I get how all that works. But it's gotta be more than that. This is where the human side, this is where the scouting side comes in. If you look at just purely statistics and data, first question you would have is, why would the Frontier League come to Kinston, North Carolina? We're in the Midwest, we're in the Northeast, we've got a strong foothold there. But then when you get past the statistics and you look at the scouting side, the data, you go back to the first time I came to Kinston and I saw Scott Alston, I saw Bill Ellis, and just how overwhelmed we were with the passion you have here in Kinston, North Carolina, Lenore County. Everywhere we went, everyone we met, I made 3 trips out here before we announced the team was actually coming at the end of the 2024 season. Myself, the rest of the league personnel who came with me, we were just overwhelmed with the passion and the hospitality and the desire and the motivation. And that's why we're here. It's because of what a great community this is, how proud you are of having professional baseball in your community, how exciting it is to be part of this great tradition. Granger Stadium is just magical. Every one of our teams that came here last year called me, their field manager called me after the trip and said, this is the greatest place there is. This is it. This is what baseball is about. This is from the opposing team coming in, from not just the field, the quality of the field, the quality of the facility, the passion and the knowledge of the fan base. From when they were around town, I heard several times how, they would go out to lunch and they would just casually, stranger in town, where are you from, what's your background? Oh, I'm here to play the Bird Dogs. They knew who they were. They welcomed them. They thanked them for being here. That was such a great thing. That's why we're here in Kinston. We are so excited and so proud to take the Frontier League, have Kinston, North Carolina as one of our newest teams. The Bird Dogs, we're looking forward to a lot of great years. We are here because this is such an amazing community. I've seen a lot of communities in my time, and like I said, the fact that every single manager that comes here, we've got guys that played in the World Series, that have played at international levels, that have coached at major levels, rave about their experience in Kinston, North Carolina. So to the Bird Dog staff, to the commissioners, to the community, to the fan base, to everyone who's here in Kinston, thank you so much for doing such a great job in welcoming us to your community. So then that leads to the next obvious question, what exactly is the Frontier League and why are we here, other than we're here to play baseball? Frontier League is a professional partner league of Major League Baseball. So we are different somewhat from what the previous teams were, from what the Indians and team not to be referenced inside the mouth of the dog. The biggest difference the biggest difference you're going to notice is instead of feeding to one specific Major League organization, we work with all 30 Major League clubs. Each one of the 30 clubs takes ball players from our teams. Each one of the 30 clubs can recommend ball players. Ultimately, it's Brett, it's the field manager and the teams that build the roster, but they do so with the input of scouts, with the input of college coaches, with the input of farm directors, with their individual contacts of people they want to see. So in terms, just talking about some of the players, each of the last 2 World Series, we had a former Frontier League player in the World Series. We've had 3 Frontier League ball players in the last 2 weeks sign with Major League organizations: the Houston Astros, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Detroit Tigers. We're very proud of that, giving them that opportunity. I've been in the league for 30 years now. This will be my 30th season. The Frontier League's been around since 1993. We tell people a lot has changed in baseball, a lot has changed in society, a lot has changed in the communications since the mid-90s, since I first started here. But what has not changed is what our purpose is as the Frontier League, what our focus, what our goal is. And really we have 5 main areas we look at. For the ball players, it's to give them the opportunity to either pursue or continue a professional career. The players we have coming to us, they're looking for a second chance. They were either, that's a blunt truth, they were either bypassed, they were overlooked, or they were in an organization, they had an injury, they hit a log jam, they just didn't fit in that system well. They're looking for another opportunity. We're here to give them that opportunity, to give them support, to pursue their dream. We've had 62 guys make it up to the major leagues. We've had guys win World Series. We've had guys win Players of the Week. We've had ball players make the All-Star game. We have, I think, a dozen players on the roster for the World Baseball Classic this year. We have guys in the Caribbean Series. We have players that were in and are going to be in the Olympic Games coming up. So from the baseball side, it's a really good quality of baseball. From the staffing side, it's the same way, to give staffs the opportunity to either build or start a career. We have former Frontier League staff members that are Major League general managers, assistant general managers, farm directors, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, athletic trainers, TV and radio broadcasters, sales executives, groundskeepers. Any type of role you can think of in a Major League club, we've got someone in that role that came through the Frontier League. And the greatest part is, to me, they still stay in touch with us. They reach out to us. When I get a call from one of our former umpires who says, I can't make it public yet, but just letting you know I got assigned to the World Series this year. The fact that he thought enough to call us to thank us for giving him his first opportunity is one of the greatest things I get to be part of. But we're also proud of the people like Sherry, like myself, that have made a career out of minor league baseball. We've got many people that are hitting 15, 20, 25 years working in the Frontier League. We've got people where their teams who started as a high school concession cashier and have never had another job, and now they're in their 40s. Not only they, but their kids are working at the ballparks. We have people that when I started in Evansville, Indiana in the mid-90s, we have people who are working on the field crew, working as security in the concession stands, that now have their kids working there, coming to the ballpark and seeing the same names. And that's what we like, that's what we're so excited about, is continuing that tradition and being such a positive impact. In terms of the businesses we work with, or that work with us, our goal is to provide you a unique and effective marketing platform that you're not going to get. The passion and the desire of our fan base is, again, something you can't measure. If you just look at pure metrics, you're going to say, advertising with the Bird Dogs with one of our teams doesn't make sense. But when you come to the game and you feel it and you see it and you experience it, you get what we're about. And it's so much more than a pure number. It's that excitement, it's that passion, it's that dedication, it's that pride people have. And we are very excited and proud to be able to deliver that. For families, it's an effective, affordable, low-stress evening out. That's what that's how we market ourselves. We're a fun experience. One of the things we like to tell people is, you come to a Frontier League ball game, if you're a child, you've got to go out of your way not to get a hug or a high five from the mascot. That's a successful game for us. If Rowdy is able to shake as many hands and get as many pictures as possible, that's how we determine success. Yes, we want to win. The home team always wants to win. It's more fun that way. But it is, does the kid have a chance to get a foul ball? Does the mascot, does he get to shake hands with the ball player? Does he get to give a high five? That's how we view our role in baseball. That's how we view our role in the community. And really the most important thing for us is we need to be a positive contributor to the communities we are in. That's why we've been in so many places for so many years. And that's what just really overwhelmed us coming to Kinston, is how open and welcoming and encouraging you were to us. And we view it as our responsibility and as our duty, from the league office filtering down through our 18 teams, filtering down through the full-time staff, to the game day staff, to the part-time workers. We want to be a positive contributing factor to the community. We want to have something for everybody. We like to tell people, for us to be a community asset, we need to feature some sort of programming, some sort of event that's attractive to every member of the community. We'd love you to come to the ballgame, but it's more important you get to come to the ballpark, you get to be part of what we are. That's again how we judge our successes. What percentage of the community has the ability to do something with us at the ballpark? You know, again, we just can't say enough. You know, when I talk to our teams, when I talk to our managers throughout the year, and they talk about Kinston and they explain to the people that were skeptical on our side that said, it's an outlier, it's a geographic outlier, it's a stretch. But once people come here and see it, they get why we're here. I get why we're here. This is my 7th or 8th trip to Kinston in the last 18 months or so. I love coming every single time. Coming into town, it's because of the people. That's what makes it so successful. And that's our responsibility to give you back what you have given us. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you to the fans, the community, the politicians, the employees of the Kinston area and Lenore County. Thank you for allowing us to be here, for allowing us to continue to celebrate. We're looking forward to a great 2026 season.
Thank you so much, Steve. And as Sherry said, we were going to have an update from the manager of the Down East Bird Dogs, Brett Wellman, but just as good, Spencer Pattison, who is the play-by-play announcer and also the director of broadcasting and public relations here. He is going to give us a little bit of rundown of what to expect.
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here. So thank you guys so much for coming. I know baseball is so close. It feels kind of far, but it's so close. So I'm ready for baseball to be here. I know a lot of you guys are as well. Weather's getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, bummed that Brett couldn't be here. I would love to have him kind of share his story and talk to you a little bit more on why he picked up some of the players he did. And obviously, I don't know a ton of that, but I know about the players at least. But yeah, so Brett a couple years ago was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney failure, which was tough. I think he thought it was going to be hard coming into the season with kidney failure, but I don't know if he realized how hard it was going to be. But he did a great job. I mean, he was killer, but it definitely took a toll on him. And luckily for him, he got a kidney transplant in August, and he's recovering, doing well, and happy to have a full healthy season for Brett Wellman this year. So that'll be really good. So expect to see him at every game, enjoying baseball, great baseball mind. And he has such a great baseball background. So excited to see a full season of Brett Wellman. Before I get into the team, just want to thank Sherry for really making this thing keep rolling. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to just be a part of this. And thank you for taking the chance on me. I mean, I get paid to talk about baseball. How cool is that? So yeah, this team, 22 returners, a lot of great faces. Brett said that a lot of excellent returners, some great guys, and a lot of new faces as well. He thinks that this would be a really fun team, and he prioritized a lot of pitching this year. So expect some strikeouts, hopefully. We're returning both our all-stars, Brandon Cameron and Stephen DiTomaso. Stephen DiTomaso is the leadoff batter, center fielder. Brandon Cameron started out the season as a relief pitcher and then became a starting pitcher, left-hander. And then, of course, got guys like Greg Martinez, who has a fastball at 98 miles per hour. Ross, you hear this? Just in case you want to pick somebody up. Greg Martinez, Brandon Cameron, Stephen DiTomaso, I can give you a whole list. But yeah, no, would love to see some of these guys in the Blue Jays uniform. I'm not kidding. Yeah, no, so Brett's gonna be back healthy, ready to go. This team is gonna be a lot of fun. It's my job to tell the stories of these players. So anytime you see me walking around and you wanna know, hey, who is this guy at third base? What does he do? Where's he from? Ask me, I'd be happy to share. And then of course you can tune into all the games on Home Team Network. It's a lot of upgrades going on, and the cameras are phenomenal. Production crew is great. It's been great to work with them. So tune in. I'd love to talk to you and tell you some stories. Thank you guys.
All right.
Spencer is an unbelievable talent. If you haven't heard him call baseball, you should. He has that. I have to have notes. He doesn't have notes. He did all that on top of his head. He's also been doing stuff for local Division I colleges. He's been working for us at Campbell and also at ECU. So lucky to have him here, and also lucky to have our next guest, who is one of those responsible for keeping this here, bringing this all back, the work that he has done for decades now for professional baseball in Kinston, among so many other things. Please welcome Bill Ellis, owner and operator of the Atkins.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to look around this room and see everyone in here, because all of us have a bond together. We all love either baseball or softball or our kids. One or the other. One of those three reasons are why we're here tonight. This year, each of us was impacted by the world of sports. Our honoree tonight, our inductee in the Hall of Fame, did it at the highest level. Can you imagine putting together a team that made it to the Major League World Series? I mean, I just think that is awesome to think that this man was able to put together 45 guys on a roster and go to the World Series. And we'll be there next year and win it. We're also here to honor a group of girls sitting back toward the back of the room that also went to the World Series this year in Louisiana, and also are ready to go back next year to win it up there, right, girls? So we're excited. So, you know, we got two World Championship groups in here tonight. This is my 48th year in youth sports, or 40th year in professional baseball at some level. And it's an honor to have been able to do that through the years and watch this. It's also an honor to watch local kids in Kinston be able to go out to Granger Stadium and enjoy the night. And one of them sitting here tonight, Chris Hatcher. Chris, please stand up. Chris started out as a 5-year-old in T-ball, and he was at the stadium all the time, his little rubber chasing balls everywhere, and it made it to the big leagues. Has played 10 years in the big leagues off and on. Was the only, well, in 75 years, was the last person to ever start as a catcher and then the next year come back as a pitcher, which is absolutely amazing. My son Kyle was a bat boy with the ball team from the time he was about 7 or 8 years old all the way through, and went on and played at Navy, and now fixed to finish his military career after 20 years. It's hard to believe. And so I've watched kids grow up at the stadium and be seen at the stadium. It's been sort of amazing. Our ownership group is some guys that really wanted to bring baseball back to Kinston. And that's the only reason we did it, I promise you, is to bring baseball back to Kinston. Cam McCray and Jeff Turner are our managing partners. Mark McConnell, Greg Floyd, Zeb Headley, Dale Murphy, and Jim Seagraves and myself. We're just proud to be able to offer baseball back here in Lenore County. We've been through it. We've lost teams. This was my third, 2 times, and we're back now. We're good. And Ross, we had the Blue Jays here when I first started, the high 8 team for the Blue Jays. I want to thank the council, the county commissioners, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, because without that group, we could have never put this deal together and made it happen. We do thank each one of you, and thank you for continuing your support. I watched some great players: C.C. Sabathian, Victor Martinez, Richie Sexton. The list goes on and on and on and on. That's come through here, and there's not another town. We're the smallest market in full season baseball in the country for 18 years. Then, I think, Steve, we're the smallest market in independent baseball, that I know of anyway. So it takes the whole community to make this go and to keep things going, so I really do appreciate it. The one thing that I'm the most proud of for this coming season is we got together as a group and we have cut the prices on kids' tickets. A kid's ticket is $5. We want to be the most fun, family-filled experience in professional baseball in the country. We want families to be able to come out and come to the ball games, and we did that by reducing the ticket prices about 75% on kids' tickets. So we're taking a chance. I promise everybody it's gonna work, so please bring your kids. But I'm here tonight to honor or present a Lifetime Achievement Award for baseball. And Coach Rabbit Fulghum is very sick tonight. His family's at home with him tonight. And if you know Coach Fulghum, I promise you he would be here if there was any way he possibly could. But we've got two entrances into the ballpark, or into the grandstands, the ramps. One of them is named after Coach George Whitfield, my hero, and probably one of the greatest coaches in America, and has done as much, and you see him all over the country. And the other ramp tonight, we're going to name James Rabbit Fulghum. So what other coaches have named after the ramp named up to him? Coach Fulghum has an extensive list of accomplishments. He was a native of Rock Ridge over in Wilson. He was second of 8 children. He played baseball and basketball in high school. After graduation, he went to Atlantic Christian College, known as Barton College today, where he was a starting catcher. His coach quickly named him Rabbit because he was so quick behind the plate. When he graduated, he went to North Edgecombe as a high school coach, and he coached girls basketball, JV girls basketball, boys basketball, JV boys basketball, and varsity baseball. While at North Edgecombe, he won his first state championship in 1962. He won that with a remarkable 30-1 record that year. In 1964, Greene County, the town of Snow Hill, was lucky enough to hire Coach Fulghum as their head baseball coach. That year, he coached the Rams girls basketball team, girls softball team, boys basketball team, and boys baseball team. He also served as the athletic director for 37 years. It was here where he truly made a name for himself. He won 7 state championships while at Green Central. He's in numerous sports Hall of Fames. He's in the George Whitfield Hall of Fame, the Barton College Hall of Fame, USSSA Softball National Hall of Fame, Baseball, High School Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame, National Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame. He also was named as one of the top 100 coaches in North Carolina who made a difference in kids' lives. Coach is married to his wonderful wife, Jeanette, and they had 3 children. Jabbo, who followed in his daddy's footsteps and served as the head baseball coach at Eastern Wayne and also the athletic director. He had a daughter, Jackie, who was the music director at Pitt Memorial Hospital and hospice in Greenville. Their third daughter, Joy, died with a brain tumor at the age of 6. But Coach Fulghum attributes his positive attitude and his winning spirit to Joy, who taught him how to make the fullest of each day. It is my honor to present to one of his former players and great friends, Harold Sutton. Will you come up and accept Coach Fulghum Award? plaque reads, Kinston Professional Baseball presents James Robert Rabbit Fulghum the Lifetime Achievement Award, February 27th, 2026, for legendary achievements and promotion of the game of baseball in North Carolina.
We are blessed in Green County to have Coach Fulghum. He's touched on many a child, boys, girls, and Bill didn't say anything, he was a driver's ed teacher. Driver's ed. But he's touched on many lives in Green County. I hate that he couldn't be here, but y'all just pray for him, he's having some health issues now, but just pray for the family. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Please welcome down Mr. Cam McCray, owner and managing partner of the Down East Bird Dogs, for remarks and our Hall of Fame induction.
Thanks, Chris. Can you hear me? Good. Wow. Sherry was talking about earlier, 2010, the last time we had one of these. I apologize, I've got a little cold and getting over. If you look at your program in a small print on the third page, of all the people who've been inducted, had this induction, it's quite a list. And there's a whole lot more people on that, but if you look at that list, it's pretty stellar. And, even going back to, we haven't mentioned the Blue Jays today, Jesse Barfield, Cecil Fielder, on and on. Then we went with Cleveland Indians. And what a great run that was. So let me just point out, if I don't know that y'all have everything in front of you regarding Ross Atkins, we bought the team. Our group came in, North Johnson and I came in 1994. I told Ross today we had a little time to catch up. I'll never forget the year because immediately after that, Major Leagues went on strike. But it was a good season for us because we were still in business, and we had a good season. I'll never forget everything about that particular opening game. But Ross is becoming tonight will be the 26th inductee into the Kinston Professional Baseball Hall of Fame. If you look at the list on your program of all those players, majority of them are probably during that or were affiliated with Cleveland Indians. Eric Wedge, and you just go on and on right down the list. Sean Casey, that team was Sean Casey, Richie Sexton, Danny Peoples. It was an incredible team. That was the winningest baseball team in the country on any level of baseball that year. Ross was born in Greensboro, North Carolina, but raised in Miami. And as we talk today, he still always has had a lot of North Carolina ties, still does. His uncle was coach at Wake Forest. Dave Odom was a basketball coach years ago. Tim Duncan played there. Ross played pitch for Wake Forest, and he came to Kinston with the Indians in '97 and played ball with them for about 5 years, I believe, and then but stayed with the organization and went up the ladder until eventually he and Mark Shapiro together went to the Toronto Blue Jays. And but then going back to when he pitched, when he was here, his first season, he had a 3.62 ERA, pitched 117 innings, 16 starts. So he was an accomplished pitcher as well, an athlete. And a lot of his family are. I won't steal all his thunder. He can tell you about all his ties with people in this area when he gets up here. But those were the good old days in Kinston in a lot of ways. And I don't say that to take anything away from the Bird Dogs, but I'm just saying that's the mark that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get back to those days because it was a great time for this community. We had a lot of support from the communities. Now there's a lot of little different teams out there competing, wood bat leagues, et cetera, et cetera. but nobody's got the history and the tradition that Kinston, North Carolina has. So I'm real excited and appreciative. Everybody's thanked all these other people, but I will say real quick, yeah, I do thank everybody on the staff, the owners, but most importantly, everybody else in this room, all the sponsors and fans. Because without y'all, everything else is just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't happen. We have to have butts in the seats, as they say. Ross also, you know, he became Director of Player Development and Vice President of Player Personnel in Cleveland. And now his official title is Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, I believe. I hope I got that right. General Manager, everything. Yeah. So they built a championship contender, as Bill was alluding to, capturing the American League East title and advancing to the World Series in 2025. I will say too, another little random thought. He and I, today we had a good time because we just kept thinking of things, what's happening with this person and that person. So I'm sorry, I get all these thoughts going through my mind. And I wish I had more time for all of us to talk about these things. But at one point in time, when Cleveland was here, we gathered the statistics and we had 82 active players in the major leagues who had played in Kinston, North Carolina. I mean, it was pretty incredible, pretty incredible. But it was just fantastic years. And he was there during our 18-year run with Cleveland. Ross was there just about all the time. And when he wasn't in Kinston, he was in Cleveland supporting us, giving us, helping us with anything we needed. He was always there for us, as was everybody else. It was just a great organization. By the way, I couldn't help but chuckle when I saw that sign. I hope all of you were there the day we unveiled it, because everybody got it. we unveiled it. And also it is good, George, you gotta do a shout out to you and all the Goldsboro Mafia out here. And see, Harlan Hines behind you there too. Harlan Hines, we've been around so long. His bat boy, when he played for Baltimore Orioles, was Cal Ripken. True story. So I gotta tell you, one last, I could go on and on. I'll probably forget things. I will point out, don't forget this, we're gonna do some concerts to help subsidize baseball too. We even have micro wrestling. So, the Colt Ford is coming in April 18th, I believe. So y'all put that on the calendar. But I gotta tell you, conclude, like I said, I could go on and on about Ross. He's had just an incredible baseball career. But I gotta tell you, when I was so excited when he and Mark were going to the World Series and during the pennant race and in the first game or two. And so we've always kept in touch over the years. You know, we talked on the phone, we texted, had mutual friends, etc. And then I'm getting excited and I started texting. And then it finally hit me. I said, wait a minute. He's going to the World Series. And I'm sitting here texting him before the game. And so I stopped doing it. But, you know, I think I quit. I said, wait a minute, I have lost my mind. He's got other things to do. But I have to tell you, he always responded. He always took the time to do it. And that's an indication of how good a person he is, how caring he is, how good a friend he is to me and to everybody else he knows, and to this community, how good a friend he is to Kinston, North Carolina. And I can't think of anybody else more deserving of this award, to be inducted into the Kinston Baseball Hall of Fame with so many distinguished people. So Bill, where are you? Ross, you want to come on up?
Felicia, you and Linda, come on up also.
same thing you did when you played.
Happy crowd.
Well, that's an incredible honor. It really is. Don't want to speak too long about how humble and grateful I am to be here. It's really not that interesting, but it is authentic how honored I am by such a remarkable, not just the list that Cam mentioned, and the really stellar accomplished career professionals that are on it. Sean Casey, Eric Wedge, Mike Hargrove, many of whom are friends of mine. Johnny Borles, a very dear friend. It really is truly humbling to be standing here. And so many good friends in Sherry and Cam that over the years I've been fortunate enough to maintain those relationships. So also have some other friends, some North Carolina friends in the room that it always feels good to come back here. I was born in North Carolina. I was raised in Miami, came back to school at Wake Forest, as Cam mentioned. But as I drive today, driving through North Carolina, landing in Raleigh, and as soon as I get into a car and drive here, I feel at home. There is something about the smells, there's something about the cadence, there's something about how I feel when I'm here, and it very much feels like home to me. There is that spirit of North Carolina that I think has always resonated in who I am, that try to be uplifting, try to be kind and warm to others, and there is that natural grace about North Carolina that I think truly separates us as a state, and it certainly has impacted me in a very powerful way. The power of hospitality, maybe, that power of helping other people is one that I've tried to lean into a bit. I will say that over the years, when I first got my job, was starting to get into leadership roles. A friend of mine, a peer, Chris Antonetti, who's now the president of the Kinston Indians, said something to me about my optimism. He's like, make sure you try to keep that, because you will become more and more skeptical as you get more stressed and the magnitude of your decisions becomes greater and more criticized, whatever it may be, and that is real. It is very real how easily you can become skeptical, and then that can turn into how it impacts how your relationships or how you're influenced by others. And I feel so grateful to have North Carolina as my foundation and my roots, and have so many good examples. So my mom being the best one that I'm very grateful is here today. She is much better at hospitality than I am, and I mean that in every sense of the word, and just how you treat another human being. Dave Odom, who George Whitfield and I share as almost family for you, I would imagine. And it's my father's sister married Dave Odom, and he has two boys, my brother and my age. So we grew up with these two boys playing basketball and playing baseball in the backyards of North Carolina every chance we got. When we weren't in Virginia for a little spell when he was coaching there, but that is a huge part of who I am today. Dave Odom actually is someone that, when I was working in Cleveland, I would ask to come to Cleveland and talk to our players about what it means to be the best in the world at something. Having been around Tim Duncan, having been around Randolph Childress and Ralph Sampson and Muggsy Bogues and lots of just elite performers. And I would have him come talk to our players about things he experienced about them as they transitioned in their career, especially as they're coming in as young players. And he was always one of the favorites. We did it year over year in Cleveland, and we still do it in Toronto. We bring our young prospects transitioning and have them talk to other elite performers, elite professionals, mostly in sport, about that transition. It always stood out, what stood out to me the most about Dave Odom is I learned as I got older, I always knew how successful he was, but as I got older, I was learning more and more how and why as he would share experiences. It's never by chance, right? For someone to achieve what someone like Dave Odom has achieved, for someone to go through so much, it's not by chance. It's not by chance that Chris Hatcher gets to the big leagues and catches and pitches in the big leagues and has 10 years in the big league. Like, that doesn't happen by chance. And when you get to spend more time with them, I was learning these things about Dave Odom's discipline, his routines, the way he treated people, how consistently disciplined he was with his routine. So just for an example, he shared this story that during their seasons in Virginia, when he was the assistant under Terry Holland? Yeah, he was the assistant under Terry Holland, so he's an assistant coach. He's trying to cut his teeth, find his way. He's also in charge of recruiting. And so every week, he went to see the same 3 players play for 3 months. He had identified 3 players, and he went every single week. So in order to do that, that means he was never home. There was no chance he was hanging out with Ryan and Lane, his 2 boys. And those little examples that he shared with me were, I'm just giving one of them, but it just became more and more telling, and it's just always so fascinating for me when you learn the why behind how someone like Cam gets to his position, how Bill Ellis excels at what he does, and how Sherry becomes so elite. It's never by chance. The sacrifices, the work, but it probably always comes down, the one thing that is always so consistent is just that genuine love for it and that passion. So I'll share one quick story. It's Sean Casey related, and then talk about my experience in Kinston a little bit. So Sean Casey, the mayor of baseball, some of you probably know him pretty well. I know some of you know him well, but great, just one of the best reputations in baseball for just bringing so much joy and goodwill to baseball. And everyone that met him just absolutely loves him. So Jimmy Leland, I was just with 2 days ago. Because half the room know who Jimmy Leland is, probably, yeah, good number. Jimmy Leland, the Hall of Fame manager, one of the most, a big personality in baseball. He connected really well with players, and he had a unique way of letting people know of his confidence, and at the same time, letting players set the environment and the tone. And that's a really easy thing to talk about doing, like players manager, really hard thing to do. So I just happened to see him. We were playing the Tigers, and I was talking to Jimmy, and we were talking about Sean Casey, and somehow was fortunate to get him to start talking about what environment meant to him. And he said, I just thought of 3 things. I thought you try to have players be happy and then healthy, and that keeps them on the field. And then if you get them confident and relaxed, you really have something. But he articulated it very quickly, really concise, and it really embodied really who Jim Leland is. Like, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I see that in your style from afar. I can see that. And we had Max Scherzer last year, so I poked him about Scherzer. I was like, well, how in the hell did you make Max Scherzer happy? he said, well, I just let him be the smartest guy in the room. And he said, but, you know, there were times, you know, he was convinced he could run McDonald's. He was convinced he could run the Players Association. He was convinced he could do my job. And he and Justin Verlander were chirping about my schedule, and it was during spring training. So, you know, in spring training, you have 70 players that you have to account for virtually 5 to 8 hours a day. And if one player feels like you don't know where they are, it upsets them, you know. Or if one player feels like, wait a second, I didn't get prioritized at this moment, they don't have a plan for me, it makes them feel uneasy. And then the more you work in baseball, players, coaches, whoever, everyone has opinions on where they should be and how they should be doing it. And he said Verlander and Scherzer were giving him a hard time about the schedule. You know, why are we doing this? We got this guy's on this field. We got guys hitting over here. Why am I not over there? And Jimmy Leland said, all right, just let him talk a little bit. And then the next day, he called him in. I wish I could impersonate it a little bit with a heater in my hand. He's got a cigarette. He had the cigarette in his hand yesterday. But he said, I called him in. I said, hey, boys, Verlander and Scherzer, come on in. He said, me and the coaches were thinking that we gonna take a day tomorrow. Let's go play some golf. Verlander and Scherzer like, he said, yeah, we just thought you guys could whip up a schedule for 70 guys for tomorrow and call us if you need anything. And Scherzer and Verlander said, no, we don't want to do that. And then he said, well, let that be the last time that you talk to me about the schedule. And so that's the confidence and then the relaxed nature. So how do I get someone to be relaxed and confident? He's demonstrating his confidence. He's showing that he's proud to be in charge and is confident in charge, and he's doing it in a relaxed way that is such a skill and is such an interesting one about this world that we live in baseball, where 162 days, we can talk about work ethic, we can talk about discipline, we can talk about being relaxed and confident, but actually creating the environments to do it is really difficult. And that is what Kinston was for me. I was very much an average at best. I was drafted in the latest round. I was drafted in like the 69th round, I think, by the Marlins when the draft was unlimited. I stayed up wait for another year, and then I got drafted in the 35th or something. I'm just a filler. Hey, this guy can haul innings for us, bring him in, we'll give him a chance. And I did all right. I found a way to get a little bit better for the first few years, and Kinston was huge for me. And it was the first time that I really felt like maybe I could be a big leaguer. Genuinely felt maybe I can do this. And such a big part of it was how I was treated by this community. And it starts with little things like how someone says hello to you and feeling really important as you come into that clubhouse, seeing the support that they had, how much care went into, and it wasn't necessarily in the fanciest equipment or the fanciest lockers, but it was in how much passion came from every person that was working there. And Cam and North and Sherry had worked so hard in identifying the right people that made us feel relaxed and confident. And it helped me be a much better baseball player. And little things like seeing the field, which was and sounds like one of the best playing fields I've ever been on, which doesn't happen by chance. Bill is one of the best in the world at what he does. It's not because the sky is blue here. It's not in the dirt. It's just labor and care and passion that turns into things that are powerful for someone that was a 35th round pick and got an opportunity to pitch in Kinston, and it made me more confident and gave me more another step in the game that I will forever appreciate and honor. It was my favorite year of professional baseball as a player, and it will always be. We didn't win a ton. We had a great team. We won. I had to look, because you only play 144 in the minor leagues. I think we won almost 90 games. That's basically in baseball. It's like winning every night, where you just come, you're like, we're winning. They might get lucky. Like sometimes the ball bounces the other way, and that was the only way we were going to lose. So it was a ton of fun for me, and I am very and forever grateful to have been a part of it and to be here today. And I can't thank you enough for the honor. It is very special for me. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Bronson. Next, we have another very special recognition. So to present the 2026 Kinston Professional Baseball Team of the Year, please welcome Scott Alston, Kinston Parks and Recreation Director, and please welcome Jason Bryant, the head coach of the Kinston Lenore 10U Angels.
I'd like to thank everyone. Microphone's a little iffy. We'd like to thank everyone. We congratulate Ross Atkins again. But we're here to recognize our Kinston County Girls All-Star Team. They were represented of Barnett Park, the best of the best girls from our department, and they won the Dixie Youth State Tournament and qualified for the 2025 World Series, and were World Series runners-up. So congratulate them. Give them a big round of applause. Everything we want in Parks and Rec, student athletes, the kind of representatives we want from the Kinston Lenore County, and we look forward to them continuing their next round. Thurman Pate wishes them well. He still works for us right now, and he's off at a Dixie Youth baseball meeting right now, securing our next tournament next year. So we look forward to the season, and it has spurred, been a beacon to our programs. We have over 370 baseball kids registered just this season. That doesn't include softball. It's not finished the register. So this has been a beacon. Not only the Bird Dogs, the state tournament of the Dixie Youth has also spurred everything. So we're almost there with soccer. So we're hoping to build things back up. And with that, I'll let Jason say a few words, and we'll call the girls up.
And I'm not touching the microphones, it's good. Thank you, Mr. McCray, Mr. Ellis, and all the ownership group for having us and recognizing us. It was a great run. These 12 girls, they learned a lot. They represent all elementary schools all across the city and county that'll feed into our high school years down the road. It's a diverse group of young ladies that just brings out the best of each other. We went down to Lumberton and were able to win the state Dixie softball tournament, and then found out we were going to Ruston, Louisiana. I bet there's only one person other than my parents or the parents of our kids and the girls that know where Ruston is. What is that, George? You know where it's at? Yes, sir. Absolutely you do. So 15-hour bus ride down there. Fun and nightmare at the same time. Long ride. We enjoyed time together. We enjoyed fellowship together, and we went down there to do a job. We come up a little short. We even did some social studies lessons on the bus. But it was great. This community that supported us, we had a big fundraising task at hand, and a lot of people in this room, a lot of people that are not in this room, I'm not going to even try to name. There was over 130 businesses, organizations, or individuals that donated to our cause. We were able to get hotel rooms for the week. Like I said, the charter bus down there that the parents and the kids all could experience it together, and it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. So continue to support Kinston County Parks and Rec. That's what we believe in, and we'll call the girls up and recognize them. Thank you. Girls, if you'll just come on up and get over here on the side. All right, first of all, Mackenzie Sumner. Alice Lewis. Avery Bryant. Adeline Garner. Alina Ransom.
Charlie Sumner. Ariana Porter. Jessa Adesso. Theta Graham. Leah Hill. And Anaya Porter. Also, we'd like to recognize Kinley Barnett, who's not able to be with us. And Josh, can you come up here for me? My other assistant coach, Jeremy Barnett, couldn't be here either. And my assistant coach, Josh Garner. And before I finish, if we could just give an applause for all the parents that brought all the kids to the practices, fundraised for us, took the trip with us. It took a toll on them. It was a long summer, but you're very much appreciated. Thank you all.